Big-time player like Gelati means big-time NIL. But is he spending that on a fancy car or fancy clothes? No. He's spending most of it at places like this. It seemed like the rain waited to start until Torpedo Anna crossed the finish line to win the Kentucky Oaks, which is just so fitting for Kenny McPeak, who has waited so long to be in the winner's circle. Baseball's all about tradition. The fresh-cut grass, a hot dog, the Americana. And here in Omaha, there's a new tradition that involves slamming more Jell-O shots than any other school here. No doubt this is one of the most fun St. X teams in quite some time. But just how exciting is it? Hey, Josh. How's that for exciting? You simply can't tell the story of the Kentucky Derby without Dwayne Lucas. But don't be mistaken, because that's not a book he plans on closing anytime soon. His latest chapter, Just Steel, a big horse, matching the size of his trainer's personality. The world's #1 golfer, Scottie Scheffler, arrived for his 8:48 tee time, was stopped by officers, said that he was disobeying orders, and dragged an officer by the back of his car.
No question, this suit, exactly that.
Came in dripping like a broken faucet, baby. What's been more stressful this season? Playing for Louisville football or getting ready for your women in hip-hop final? Of course, Central, the former high school of the great Muhammad Ali. Right. I'm going to go and quote a different type of bleach blonde, 16-time heavyweight champ that once said, to be the man, you gotta beat the man. I can only imagine what the coach in you is game planning for going into this one, but I'm just as curious as how the girl who grew up on a farm in Nebraska, who played and won a national championship at Nebraska, how does it feel going into this match? Quarterbacks are thankful that Louisville's Ashton Gelati has finally declared for the NFL draft.
I feel like a part of my heart will always be in Louisville. It's been a good experience. It's been a great experience, actually.
But in his 4 seasons with the Cards, Gelati has shown his thanks in a different way. Now, in today's world of college football, a big-time player like Gelati means big-time NIL. But is he spending that on a fancy car or fancy clothes? No. He's spending most of it at places like this. The Lord's Kitchen Ministries is a food distribution center, one of the many places Gelati spends most of his time and NIL, doing things like preparing food, wrapping presents for kids,
This is like high-pressure gift wrapping. Like, what are we doing, y'all?
and handing out goods to the less fortunate.
What's up? The city has just treated me right, and obviously they welcomed me with open arms, and just being able to do the same thing back is something I feel is crucial.
You know, personally, it means the world to me. I have 3 boys of my own that play sports, and I know the mentality and the culture. He's here ongoing throughout the year. It's not just a one-time thing. It's not just during the holidays. I mean, him and his family are here.
What's your name? Using the platform we have, especially with name, image, and likeness, is just, you're more than just a football player in a lot of aspects. So just, again, trying to love on your community. What they do here is just special.
And much like football, giving back takes a team.
I mean, it just shows everything about him. Like, it's not just all about football to him. He wants to give back and, you know what I'm saying, give to those that need. And that's one thing that he's done a great job of since he's got here.
You're doing all these great things. You're not doing it for the exposure. You're doing it because you care. Where does that care come from?
I don't want any glory from it. I just want to, again, get people in a world that's so confrontational or in so much conflict, just for people to have open hearts for each other and just be able to love on each other. That's kind of what I would like my image to be, or my legacy to be.
Mason Horodyski, WHAS 11.
Police are looking for a suspect after 2 people were shot during the PRP male football game last night.
According to LMPD, the shooting happened in the parking lot in front of PRP High School, and the victims are teenagers. WHAS 11 sports reporter Mason Horodyski was at the game and shows us the moment shots rang out.
Male and PRP High School were in the midst of their Sunday makeup game after the effects of Hurricane Helene pushed it 2 days later than original. With just over 2 minutes left in the game, a player for PRP went down for a prolonged time with an injury. As the crowd went quiet, gunshots rang out and panic ensued. Players and fans rushed away from the noise towards the back of the school.
Students should go underneath the bleachers on both sides, please.
As in the front, 2 victims were shot. In the midst of a heavy police presence, medical would eventually take the victim to the hospital. Players and fans would slowly make their way out of the high school, as what was supposed to be another fun night under gridiron lights evolved into one of fear and sadness. Mason Horodyski, WHAS 11. Derby 150 is set to be a celebration of the race's history, but it's hard to ignore some of its most recent and tragic.
I mean, I don't think you ever get past it mentally, like what you have to go through, and it knocks you down.
Trainer Safi Joseph Jr. is back at Churchill Downs a year after 2 of his horses, Parents' Pride and Chasing Artie, died in the days leading up to the 149th Kentucky Derby.
It's something that you carry the rest of your life.
Joseph Jr. was suspended from Churchill Downs and forced to scratch his horse, Lord Miles. An investigation by the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission concluded that nothing was suspicious about the deaths that would have caused concern prior to the race. Joseph Jr. was reinstated in June of 2023.
Maybe we will get answers eventually down the line somewhere. Maybe things will come out that we would find out, but that's something that happened, and we can't. We don't have a concrete answer.
You said last year you felt like a scapegoat. Do you still feel that way?
I mean, it spoke for itself. I mean, last year is gone. I guess there's 2 ways in life. You can sit down and make excuses and blame and look for sympathy. At the end of the day, that's not going to get you anything. I thought we did everything that in the right way, and we're thankful to be back.
As devastating as the events of last year were, Safi Joseph Jr. is now ready to move on. Exactly 365 days after his suspension, he'll have another shot at the Kentucky Derby with his horse Catalytic.
He's been moving beautiful over the track. He's been galloping as good as he ever galloped in his life.
The long shot will have to run the race of his life.
You need patience now. You need to get the right trip. As I said, the Derby is the best horses don't always win. It's one of those races where you kind of just hope to get there, and then you hope for the best.
A year after a nightmare.
I don't stop dreaming. I don't stop hoping, but I kind of control my expectations.
Dreams of roses reignited. Mason Horodyski, WHAS 11. There are few days on the calendar that define what this state is all about. Now, one of them comes that first Saturday in May. The other comes around every cold December like now, where the fires of rivalry are reignited. Today was what the Bluegrass is all about. It's time for a battle in it. Cards, Cats, Kelsey, Pope. First game between these 2 programs without a Patino or Calipari since 2001. And with Lamont Butler back in the starting lineup, Otega Owe ushers in that new era in a big way. Big time dunk for an early lead. That layoff may have helped Butler's shot too. Connecting from deep, Cats up by 8. Louisville finally finding range from outside. Who else? Chucky Hepburn beating the shot clock for the 3 to make it a 4-point game. But with time winding down in the first half, Butler off the bounce, the Euro, the finish. Cats head to the locker room up by 6. Second half, Louisville showing their grit. Hepburn again from 3, 26. Big night from him. Big night from this guy too. Terrence Edwards Jr., 23 points off the bench. But it just seemed like Butler always had an answer. 10 for 10 from the field, 6 for 6 from 3, career high 33 points. But is this really a Louisville-Kentucky men's basketball game if there isn't just a little bit of a dust-up? Squabble up, Cards and Cats going at it, no action taken. But once we got back to the game, this would seal the deal. Otega Owe with another slam. Kentucky wins it 93-85. That's 3 straight for the Cats and 10 of the last 12. Shuck in his 7th year of college football. Lots of people go to college for 7 years. They're called doctors, and he's got his PhD in quarterbacking. Abubakar Traore missed a few first weeks with a broken arm. Now he's just breaking rims. Cal not letting up on Black Friday. Connor Hodge dealing. What a catch from Darwin Cotton. Years and years of dreams could finally come to fruition with his new Kentucky team in his old Nebraska home. Mason Horodyski, WHAS 11 on your side.